A quick thank you to all of my Patreons, and a special shout out to Lemu, Firebringer Axel, and Enigma Desu for pledging the higher tiers. Your support is heavily appreciated. Sup guys, been a while since I did one of these individual servant reviews, but better late than never, right? So, the Prisma Ilia event, one of many wonderful crossover events that I, and I'm sure a lot of you other fans, also do love. Yes, the events where Type Moon lets us roll for our favorite Type Moon characters from other franchises, where we can obtain original characters from our other beloved Type Moon works. Bless Smelt, bless Gray, bless Eris, I love them all. About a year and a half ago, we got the Prisma Ilia Causeway event that allowed us to get the S tier, ultra hyped and beloved single target Arts Archer Chloe, as well as the ultra nuke of a single target caster, Ilia, the latter which I already did a video on. Both are pretty great servants in my opinion, and like with Karno Kyokai before it, now that we're getting a rerun, we're of course getting a new servant to join our roster, and of course, there's no better choice to give the spot than Miu Edelfelt, our secondary protagonist in Prisma Ilia and arguably its most important character. Miu is a character that shows massive depth as the series goes on and ends up being far more than what is initially seen on the surface in one of the best plot twists I've seen in a modern Fate story. Her character arc was one I really felt for and ended up even tearing up a bit during a certain arc that Prisma fans will definitely know what I'm talking about. I swear to God, family stories always hit so close to me. So, this being one of my favorite characters, my enthusiasm for her was immense. Remember, limited 4-star units for Collab include Passionlip and Fujino, two servants that, while not broken per se, are both strong units that can fit some unique yet useful roles if used right. I was confident Miu was going to be a great unit when she would come out, just based on the prior experience. While not broken, she was gonna be strong. She was gonna be the same as the other two. Right? Right?
Let's get this thing over with.
Miu Sakatsuki. Limited 4-star caster. She has pretty solid stats overall, average hit count, NP gain, and honestly, while nothing is particularly stand out, yet there's nothing particularly bad either. What could possibly go wrong? First skill is meant to be Miu's attack skill. It's not that bad honestly. A 30% arts buff for 3 turns helps with damage and the crit damage while low, as well as also restricted to 3 hits is a neat bonus. Her second skill is survivability. 3 turn guts. Not gonna lie, that's not my preference when on a 6-turn cooldown, because the reason Fujino and Tesla's 3-turn guts work is because they're on 5-turn cooldowns and have low downtime. The 6-turn kinda kills that. The one-time debuff immunity is also just the most forgettable thing in the world. Arjuna has one for literally 5 turns, let alone 1 time. Finally, her third skill is a targetable NP charge with buff success rate up for 3 turns. The targetable charge itself is fantastic, and while the buff success is niche, it's helpful for her girlfriend if you decide to pair them together. She has this passive NP regen too, which is good, so what's not to love? Well, the thing is, these skills have no synergy. We have a pure offensive skill, a pure selfish survival skill, and one support skill. None of them really complement directly with each other. Her first skill allows her to do decent card damage, but her crits are going to lack since she has no star weight. The guts is weak, and her one time of debuff immunity for 3 turns is so pathetic it might as well just not be there. Then the support skill. The charge is good, don't get me wrong, but why use Miu with one support effect when so many other charge supports exist that are dedicated supports? Then we get to what completely destroys her kit. Her NP. This is basically Garden of Avalon but with a few numbers changed and tied to a 3k HP demerit. This one thing. This damn NP fucks Miu over in so many ways. The first thing most people notice is that damn 3k HP demerit. Straight up, why? What is so broken about this one NP that makes it need that demerit? It is literally Merlin's NP with number changes, and I'm gonna be real, Merlin's NP is strong, but it's not that strong. Holy shit, this was completely unnecessary, and it wrecked her viability up big time. Second off, this is a support NP? A support NP on a servant with one support skill. You can't have an offensive support hybrid when the effects are so base level that they don't even complement each other. The reason a unit like Ereshkigal works as a hybrid is because she's a damage dealer with buffs that buff her own damage and the party. Miyu just has no synergy with herself. Okay, you could argue that she could use stars to crit with, but as I said, she has no star weight. A whopping 5 stars per NP is not going to change much, especially since she's an art servant, meaning she doesn't gen stars on cards. Not to mention her crit skill is 3 hits for only 30%. That's not worth it. It's so low. Her first 2 skills were made for an offensive unit, but since Miyu's NP is support, they are wasted on her. Her guts sure bandages her 3k HP demerit to a point, but like, why bandage a problem that shouldn't even be there in the first place? Why not just give her a matching deck to begin with? I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. Why go over and have so many offensive unit based skills only to stick a support NP off that's tied to a 3k HP demerit? The skills aren't even that bad. They're just awful with each other and this shitty support NP. Okay. So, if you want some tips with using with Miyu, making her a critting art spammer is about as close as you can get to making her do some sort of damage. Tomomo and Castoria, of course, due to their buffs, but actually Tammy is more important since she can give heals to Miyu to offset her crippling demerit, something Castoria cannot do. You'll also want to consider passive Gen CEs like 2030 because her star gen is going to be absolute garbage. If you want to make Miyu more of a support with crit units, however, you'll want to pair her with other crit art servants, and up the top of my head I can name Qinshi Huang, Yagyu, or Shiki. Any unit that's in the realm of arts crits would be a good partner, just make sure they have enough star weight. In a case like that, you'd want Miyu to have a healing CE like Bath of the Lunar Goddess, Maiden of a Flower Patio, or if you're using Tomomo, Maiden Halloween. I should also mention that because Miyu has a fixed 10% NP regen, people did find a strategy to get 2 Miyus to stack their NPs at least 3 times, so you could literally fill your NP gauges every turn, as long as you make sure both Miyus constantly have their NP stacked to that 3 times. This is by far the most genuinely viable usage Miyu has in my opinion. And in that case, survivability is gonna be key thanks to that stupid HP demerit. So again, focus on heals like before. It is an option that I've seen people doing, so you might want to consider that. But even with that one strategy in mind, it's just heartbreaking to see Miyu treated like this. For a long time, Miyu was always a good character, but ever since Dry Man, she skyrocketed to my favorite in the series. The backstory she had was so beautiful, and realizing the amount of development she went through in the first season that we just took for granted, that was so beautiful. Prisma Ilia is truly just a fantastic work in the Fate series, and Miyu is such a big reason as to why I love it so much. But I guess even then, even if she isn't the best unit in the world, I'm still gonna try and get her. She deserves all of the love in the world after all. She's gonna be here about the end of January, during the Prisma Ilia Causeway rerun, so again, if you want to get this rare servant, you need to roll her then, cause she doesn't get a rerun. This is pretty much why it's worth rolling for her, even though her gameplay is frankly kinda shit. She's really rare. Still though, I would really appreciate a few hundred buffs though, the Lightworks. Please, I'm begging you. Please, I'm begging you, just let me have